How you guys doing tonight?
Jay, your volume is subdued, and I've got you on max on my end. Make like detergent and adjust your gain.
Are we just... oh my god. Apparently we're gonna have dad joke Bronx Dag tonight.
Dag joke?
Dag jokes.
Jay, you sound... When you're talking, you sound loud.
When I'm talking, I sound loud.
Now you're not talking anymore, so you're just not loud anymore.
Okay.
But now
I'm
you're
talking now.
You were loud.
You feeling okay?
You're loud when you're talking, and you're not loud when you're not talking.
Oh god. We're rusty.
I mean, that makes sense. How do I sound right now?
Now or then now?
Now.
Before that, you were louder than you were then, but now you're not loud at all because you're not talking.
I am talking. Is it good?
Louder.
Okay.
A little louder,
talking, testing.
Louder.
1, 2, 3.
Because I don't just go to a con to be like, oh yes, I'm going to wait in this line for 6 hours. No, I'm getting the $2,000 ticket so that I can skip all the lines, meet everybody, shake hands, get COVID, and come home.
It's relatable. I think the next con I go to, I'm going to save up a shit ton.
Mission Seattle.
Yeah, I want to go to Seattle.
Oh, dude,
bad.
if we go to Seattle, can we report live from Seattle? Welcome to Beyond Track Podcast Live. It's Suzanne and what's my name again? Dag.
There it is. Found it.
Live from Mission Seattle. We're not actually live. This is pre-recorded, but we're live while we were recording it, so technically it's live.
God, that would be awesome. I feel like it would be really fun to have a booth too, and just like make stickers, and I can come up with little graphic designs.
I can turn my gain up higher.
Silly, goofy moves.
So I just want everybody to know that I've been recording for the last 4.5 minutes. So because Suzanne and I had some fun commentary to say before everybody joined, so it's probably going to make it into a cold open. But also, I just got over an 8-hour shift, and I'm sleep deprived. So you're going to get loopy Dag.
Valid.
Oh,
well, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Oh, thank God.
Well, we love loopy Dag, right?
Good content. It makes for good content.
Yeah,
it makes for good Dag jokes.
I appreciate that.
Dag jokes.
Okay.
It should be the cold open with just the Jeopardy, like Final Jeopardy song.
And it would be from Jeopardy that we get the cease and desist, not Star Trek, but Jeopardy.
Oh God! Oh fuck! Yeah, true.
Freaking ABC, not even associated with that other channel that we love so much, Paramount.
We love it.
That would be ironic. Very ironic.
We don't need Alanis Morissette to give us a cease and desist either, Jay.
What did I do?
I don't know. You got all ironic on me.
I'm to blame Jay for something. Let's blame the main on Spain.
Blame Jay for something. That's literally the synopsis of my life. I think it is.
Red alert.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Beyond Trek Podcast. We are ending a hiatus of several weeks, and while we've had a couple of episodes that are really cool interviews with people that we love and you should love too, Lower Decks is back in the house. I've got Suzanne, Renzo, and Big J, and we're gonna bring it at you. But first, your spoiler alert. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I love this episode so much because the music was great.
Everything was great.
Very happy. Everything was amazing.
It's just a show that's always strong on its opening episodes, right?
It really is.
My one sad point is that we did not have a random superpower that almost destroys the ship again. But maybe,
I'm okay with
next
that.
Episode.
True,
Maybe next week.
Good point.
No, but there was a mention of a superpowered being in the episode, so cater to that.
And it's good to sit here with you guys again. How long were we out? That hiatus, like 3 or 4 weeks since the
I feel like it was more
Picard.
like Picard.
It was more like almost
Strange
a month
New
and a half,
Worlds.
too.
SMW, yeah. I think it was like 6
Strange
weeks.
New Worlds. Oh my God. Okay, so if
It's
that
been
tells
like
you
5 or
It's been a
6
while.
weeks, but we did that interview with Ryan Britt, and we did another interview with the Bollywood Bev, who was super cool.
Gotcha.
Legend.
Okay.
And
A little rusty. I'll shake that rust off.
But today we're going to go
can do
over Lower Decks Season 3, Episode 1, Grounded. I should add some reverb to that. Grounded.
Do it.
Do the reverb.
Suzanne, if you would
Yes.
be so bold.
All right, let's go, shall we? We begin with a newscast where Sylvia Ron explains the latest news concerning Captain Freeman's arrest and charges. She stands accused of organizing the attack on Big Strong City, while the Cerritos remains in space dock and her crew remains grounded. There is also apparently new surveillance footage that places Freeman on the scene at the time of the bombing. Meanwhile, incandescent verugament will apparently light up the night sky on Earth the next day. Mariner throws a plant at the television screen playing the news, much to her father's dismay, and expresses her anger at Starfleet and the system for keeping her mother locked up when she knows that she did nothing wrong. Her father, the Admiral, suggests she take a walk and see some sights since she's never on Earth, but she feels completely useless when she isn't on a ship and saving the day. A call comes in for them from an Admiral Boimly Going, and he informs them that the judge that will be trying Captain Freeman, is Myth Ben Tong, a planet's rights lunatic, according to Mariner. Her father tells her to have faith in Starfleet, but she leaves, vowing to do something about it as she breaks possibly every fragile object in the building. Very on brand for her. After the opening titles, the scene sweeps over a beautiful vineyard, and we see Boimler choke on a fly as he tends to his raisins. Mariner asks if he's listening, and he says he's in with her plan, which surprises her. He wants to get the hell away from the raisins and apparently constant harassment from the women around him, saying that he can't
Recording
believe
in
that
progress.
Oop. What happened there? Did anyone else just get that?
No.
I'm
Sorry,
sorry, I
did
might
I
have
do
to start
that?
over.
No, you're good. I just started recording because I got distracted with your great opening, and I'm the backup record guy. Yeah, I was mesmerized, and so I hit the.
That's
it's all
okay.
good.
Sorry.
I got all of it. We're good.
All right, should I start over, I'm assuming?
No, leave it in. That's what we do here.
Oh,
at the On
whatever,
Track
yeah,
Podcast.
sure. Where was
Roll
I
with
about
it.
the Boimler being harassed? Okay.
Yep.
He can't believe Starfleet doesn't know it's a setup, and Mariner mentions that the logs were corrupted. Boimler saves the day, revealing that he has kept detailed logs of the captain's whereabouts as well as his own so that he could go to them for reference later. Mariner, who chest punches Boimler into a bush affectionately, celebrates and begins planning how to get back on the ship to retrieve his pad and his logs, and both of them set off to find Rutherford, who they know probably docked the ship. Rutherford and Tendi are enjoying gumbo at Cisco's Creole kitchen. God bless. And they are arguing about where to go next. They finally agree on Bozeman, Montana, and the site of Zephyrin Cochrane's first warp flight, right as Mariner walks in with dramatic timing. Boimler joins them, and they discuss their plan to break into dry dock, but Rutherford is hesitant. Tendi suggests showing the court Boimler's logs. I'm very rusty, it would seem, but Mariner reminds her that they could easily bury them. While Boimler struggles with the hot sauce, Rutherford reveals that he memorized the orbital coordinates of the Cerritos, as it's only 19 digits, but the only way up to it is through an encrypted transporter signal at a compound. So all they have to do is break in, knock out security, and get on that transporter pad to beam up. Should be easy, right? As they enter the facility, the longtime security chief that they were expecting turns out to be a sweet old man with butterscotch and stories. They feel bad knocking him out and tying him up, and while they debate over who should do it, he reveals that he knows their plan. They all break down and panic, and then sit down while he explains that he understands why they're doing it. He would help them if he could, of course, but the verugament, the creatures migrating past Earth that will light up the sky, are preventing the transporters from working, and the only way they can get there is on a ship. Tendi begins lamenting that they couldn't visit Montana, and at the site of the warp flight, there's a replica ship that you can take into orbit, and Mariner devises a plan. While Rutherford and Tendi nerd out at the entrance to the theme park, Mariner points to the Phoenix, and they walk towards the ride. Boimler doesn't think they can fly it, but Mariner says that Rutherford should be able to manually override the flight controls and take them past orbit. When they board, another passenger, Gavin, boards with them, but they decide to go through with it anyway. Rutherford overrides the holographic Cochrane while Gavin screams in the background and inputs the dry dock coordinates into the replica ship, going to warp to reach the Cerritos. Rutherford offers to let Gavin go back to Earth, but he takes the ship to explore the stars, promising that we haven't seen the last of him. On the ship, they find Boimler's pad, and his logs are overly personal, which makes Mariner furious. She says that they're a joke, and that no one will believe a goofy ensign if they don't believe the captain. Boimler reminds her that it's Starfleet, and if they can't trust them, then they can't trust anyone. Mariner, seemingly convinced, goes back with them to the shuttle, but autopilots them out of the ship, taking the Cerritos and going to warp to find the Klingons and prove her mother innocent. She reminds them that the captain is her mom, and she has to do something, but won't get them involved. They all agree on the shuttle that they want whatever trouble comes with it, and Boimler redefines where the shuttle is taking them, crash landing into the shuttle bay. On the bridge, Mariner tries to stop them, and they all get into a fight before passing the control station. Security is onto them, and Rutherford is finally able to stop navigation control as Mariner slinks to the floor. They all agree that they're in this together, and just as security hails them, the Verugament flies into the ship, and Tendi explains that they're synthesizing carbon off the hull, and the ship is effectively a breeding ground. When security hails again, she tries to get them out of it by saying that they're researching this rare scientific event, but it doesn't work, and they have to get out of there fast. When security arrives in the shuttle bay, they're helping the creatures breed and getting stung while doing it, but it convinces the security officer that they are just junior officers taking initiative. They think they're in the clear, but he asks them who ordered the mission, and right as they're about to get in trouble, Captain Freeman walks into the room, stating that she ordered the mission. She's flanked by Shax, Da'ana, and Admiral Freeman. Captain Freeman explains that the trial is over, and that while she was in court, there was a special ops team led by Morgan Bateson that discovered the Packlids had faked the incriminating film. They found the forger and captured him in the neutral zone, and under questioning by Tuvok, he revealed that the bombers were the Packlids themselves, who were hoping to trick the Federation into relocating them to a more resource-rich planet. When the story is over, Mariner is berated by her mother and father for not trusting the system, and the other three go to clean up their Verugament, while Mariner follows the captain. The captain and the admiral explain that if Mariner wants to stay in Starfleet, she has to start acting like it. They have covered for her and lied for her, and the Cerritos is still her last chance. As a mother, she could never kick Mariner off the ship or out of Starfleet, so she assigns Mariner to Commander Ransom, and it will be his decision whether or not she stays in Starfleet and on the Cerritos. Boimler, Tendi, and Rutherford are all cleaning up space goo from the shuttle bay, remarking that they're glad to be back before they turn on the news. We see Gavin aboard the malfunctioning Phoenix ride, declaring that he is captain as security officers drag him off the ship. And that's the episode. I actually made a mistake in that intro. She does not go to warp in the Cerritos, because the Cerritos has no hull.
The whole plane's all gone.
She's an impulse, not warp. My bad.
That's
we're all
okay.
Rusty, you know?
Oh God,
Still,
yeah.
It's all in
Coming
Earth
back.
orbit.
Jesus
That
Christ.
close by, impulse is still more than fast enough.
For
Right.
audience, either listening or watching, we will be back in the groove around the 4th or 5th episode of the season when we feel like, okay, we've got it. We've got our sea
Yeah,
legs
right at the
back.
finale, you know?
Yeah, we shouldn't take these long breaks.
Yeah, well,
Blame Star Trek
sort
for
of
that.
kept it,
that story will be documented in the movie How Big J Got His Groove Back.
I like it.
So excited.
So,
All right, what do y'all want to talk about first?
like, ultimately, like, I don't know, my big shtick with this is they totally subverted all of my expectations. I was expecting this to kick off like a season-long how to prove, the captain didn't do any wrong. Let's do a full Star Trek 3, like, repeat of, and I just wanted that whole season to be a thing. And then the end of the episode is like, oh no, trial's over. And then I was like, right, Lower Decks. We're not even a part of the main crew. The main crew, that episode happened on some other show where we got to see the trial and all of that was revealed. We didn't even get to see any of that, but we did get to see Morgan Bateson and Suzanne.
Tuvok. We got to see Tuvok. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy we got to see Tuvok.
I'm glad we finally got to see Tuvok.
Oh, I'm so happy. I love that he just immediately mind melds. It's such a Tuvok thing.
That is how he
Such a,
interrogates.
like-
Remember, like Spock was all
Right?
like, mind melds are a very personal thing. We don't do these just willy.
Tuvok's just like,
And then-
fuck it.
I need information.
Let's go. Oh, I love him. I'm so happy about that. Yeah, I was really happy to see him back. And I think the thing that I'm really excited about, because I could be wrong, but in the trailer, there is a still of two people at one of the, like, the controls in, like, I think in the warp core, maybe in engineering. And from the back, it looked like Tuvok and Janeway. And I was like, no, it's not gonna be Tuvok. And now we have Tuvok!
Now, was
like-
there... I might have missed it. I don't think I did. But so in the beta canon, Tuvok served on the Titan while Riker was captain. I don't recall if there was a direct mention that the Titan... Yes, there was, because the Titan was the one that
Saved him
tracked
in the
the
first
dude
season.
down.
Yeah.
It wasn't that tracked the guy down the neutral zone, and that's why...
No,
Why
the
Tuvok was there.
ship that tracked it down in the neutral zone was actually an Akira class, not a Titan, not like the Titan. not a Luna class.
Oh yeah, that was a different ship, I think.
Yeah, that was.
They look so similar.
It was
No
awesome
mention of the Titan in this
because
episode.
it was an Akira class that was captained by Morgan Bateson, who had previously captained a Soyuz class, which could be said to be a predecessor structurally of the Akira class, with the nacelles underneath and the overhead deflector array.
Mhm.
Either way, my biggest surprise was that they managed to get James Cromwell to voice over so
Oh,
many
yeah.
things that
It's
were
nuts.
ridiculous.
If you couldn't get him to do it, there's no sense in making the
I
episode,
agree.
doing that part
So
of it.
awesome.
So I'm from South Florida originally, right? So we would go to Orlando Disney all the time, and the presentation of this like historical Bozeman as being like a Disney World was on point.
Yeah.
In line, there's like a guy talking to you from a video screen, being like, "Make sure you finish your snacks before you get up." Perfectly legit.
It's so true. It's very accurate, and like I love the exit on the right. I think this is perfect. Yeah, it's a great. It's awesome. I love
It's a
that.
theme
I love
ride.
the Bozeman. Yeah,
The whole setup was great. It looked like a Renaissance fair at the thing. The different lines of the food booths,
Yeah.
memorabilia, et cetera, et cetera.
So
and then
I mean-
Rutherford and Tendi in the hats, and going, "Oh my god, it's just like the 21st century."
Yep.
It's so good.
there's some really cool Easter eggs in the scene when you do the scene by scene. So first off, you see an Enterprise and a Defiant and a Vulcan ship balloon thing, and it's the original TOS Constitution Enterprise. There's one of those games where you like use the mallet to hit the weight and try to ding, but it's the Phoenix that goes up and down.
Awesome.
Um,
Somebody needs to make that. Oh my god,
The Tijuana being used as like a kid's playground
Yes.
set was amazing.
so funny.
Yes.
God, so good.
I think that there's a copy of Riker's pizza making thing that he had in Picard.
Yeah, and then like and the music. Let's talk about the music because that's my favorite. That's my favorite theme.
They
Yeah,
brought
Rutherford
Very the end.
they brought back Goldsmith's First Contact interlude, as well as Steppenwolf's Magic
Yep.
Carpet Ride.
Carpet ride. Yep.
Does anybody? This is going way over my head. I'm gonna feel like a moron because I know one of you knows. But what's up with the BB banners?
The what banners?
There's banners all throughout this place that have the letters BB. And
I
BB.
just assumed it was Bozeman.
But what would the other be?
I mean, it's
They're
just
on
it could
opposite
just
sides
be
of like a pillar.
it could just be Bozeman. That's fine. But like, I
But
was
why would they do
expecting it to
BB?
be something. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
They're just banners with BB. You know, I'm gonna think about that. I'm sure we could crack that one without looking it up.
Without looking it up.
Another
Nope.
thing-
That's
Can't
the
cheat.
surprise reveal at the end.
Another thing that I really liked about it is that the Phoenix like amusement ride itself is very much like Star Tours, where you've got an interactive component, much like C-3PO from Disney.
It had a wait time limit on the outside, like a wait time.
It did, it
indicator
had
on
a
the
wait
outside.
time
Yeah,
on
it
it.
said 25 minutes
So
or something
good.
like that.
Yeah, no, and
Yeah.
then I liked the addition of the hologram Zephyr Cochrane because that's totally what rides would be. I mean, that's exactly how that would work.
Because
I
they
love
launched the
that.
actual thing up in a freaking
Yeah.
space, you know,
It's a
because
ship.
of course.
It's in the Smithsonian now.
Yeah.
Remember that Picard says that he used to always see it as a kid in the Smithsonian and always wanted to touch it. So
So
we know
this,
the real one's there.
yeah.
These are
the
just
real
replicas.
original.
Yeah.
They're in
okay.
space. They're in space.
Yeah, these ones
That's
probably
right.
won't like make you feel like you're flying apart.
They probably have actual inertial dampeners and are much more advanced than the original one, but they
Yeah.
kind of give you the look.
You know, it's less life in danger and more like we
But-
ship.
But now
I was
let's
missing the shaky of the whole thing.
Yeah,
let's
like
talk
the-
about
yeah.
how cool it is that humanity. I mean, obviously we would do this, but humanity's very first foray into light speed travel has become commodified to a point where you can just hop on a warp capable thing, go around in a circle, and come back, and it's a safety ride.
Yes.
Be dope.
Well,
It
did
is
seem
literally
that
a roller
safe for
coaster.
Gavin? Did it seem that safe for Gavin? He looked like he
Poor
was gonna have
Gavin.
kids.
Well,
I'm
Gavin had I don't know. Gavin was unique.
I liked that Gavin immediately went from "I'm terrified" and then the adrenaline kicked in and said, "I'm the captain now." And just like took it. Oh my god, it was awesome. It was lovely. And I also wanted to like briefly talk about the Boimler Vineyard Raisin Farm. That shit is so genius. It's so funny, and the outfit and the women.
It was totally Boothby's outfit.
Oh, totally.
It was.
Did you catch or maybe you just found the meme of like one of the girls that was in there? If you wanted to mention that.
Yeah, no.
That's specifically what I want to bring up. I thought that the whole interaction between the many girls there was very indicative of this whole like Boimler was the nerdy kid that nobody liked, but then he went out into space. Now he's come back and he's a badass, even though he's not interested in them at all. Right? It's every nerd's dream from high school. I'm gonna go become a real man and then come back and everybody's gonna want me. But he's not interested in them.
He just hates the raisins so much.
See, you took that in a direction that I didn't take it. I took it as like Boimler is so oblivious and doesn't think he's attractable, and so doesn't understand why all these doesn't get it. It's just going completely over his head. Even when Leanne at the end is like, "I need to get naked," he's like, "Just get a hose, Leanne."
It's I felt seen. I felt heard.
Maybe, dude, I can't imagine something going that far over somebody's head that way.
You know, Renzo, way to say that you've got game without saying you've got game.
Because it doesn't mean like having game and being like blind.
This has happened to all of us.
Boimler.
Oh yeah.
This was, for all of us, it's going to be 20, 30 years ago. You're just sitting there on your computer driving, and then, wait a minute.
I totally had
years ago.
We all got those.
That girl didn't want me to come to her apartment and fix her door when it was perfectly fine, and I had a screwdriver. Like, well, there you go. Son of
I did that before.
Yeah.
So true.
But
we've all got that story.
One thing to note, the first girl that walks up to him holding a bucket of red grapes has a white shoulder-ish blouse with a red hat thing on. I don't know what it's called. Please forgive. She's the sun-made raisin lady.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, she's the sun-made lady. It's a bonnet, I think. I guess you would call that.
Yeah, we could call it a bonnet.
But yeah, that's the sun-made lady, which I loved.
It's absolutely
copyright question mark?
Too coincidental. Well, they would have been copyright if she had green grapes, because
for once, Star Trek is the one that gets the copyright.
I know, right? In the actual Sun-Made logo, she has green grapes, so purple might have been just enough to eschew that particular.
It's generic enough that you can get away with it. I think.
So.
But that was awesome. Oh, God, Boimler's Raisin Vineyard. I want to meet Boimler's parents.
The other thing I thought was really neat, though, was a lot of the technology that you see going on in there looks actually more primitive than what we saw at the Chateau Picard in the second season of Picard, because he had automated pickers and such. And there was some tech going on at their farm, but it seemed more rustic than Picard's.
Yeah,
that's true. And actually, some of the grow lights that he was the pads with the grow lights and stuff that is I don't know. I mean, I'm not a farmer clearly, but I feel like I've seen technology like that where they have you control this and this and that. So it does seem like just futuristic, same stuff we have today. But it made for really funny television. So I ain't mad.
I had one more thing I wanted to point out about the stealing the Phoenix portion of the episode.
Yeah.
Did you guys notice that there were 5 different Phoenix launch pads?
Yes.
They had 5 rides that could go up simultaneously.
5 rides.
Yeah, or 5 maybe vessels that they could launch at least, right? Which is just real clever from a theme park aspect.
Does that
Single
mean
passenger ship number 5?
Does that mean there were 5 miso silos there?
Or they added them after the fact. This is a theme park. It's historical.
I mean, yes, but it's also missile silo.
Also, most missile silos were clustered.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's fair. That's true.
Does anybody want to? Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to change the subject to the ticker at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Jellicoe banning fun.
Yeah.
Totally believable.
From active duty starships. God, it's so good. It's so
Jellicoe banning the Zebulon sisters, the Buffalo Solar Knights eclipse the London Kings. Surprised to see the London Kings are back because they were one of the last teams to play. I don't know what ELDS means. It must be the World Series of new baseball stuff. The youngest Zach Dorn to be crowned Stratagema Stratagema Grandmaster.
Yep.
I thought there was a misspelling there
Yep.
for a second. And then Country Stampede, dozen teens injured.
Dozen teens?
Rushing stage at Sonny Clemens concert. Sonny Clemens,
Awesome.
you might
Awesome.
remember from the season finale of the first season of Star Trek The Next Generation, The Neutral Zone, where they thought out those three individuals,
Yep.
one of whom was Sonny Clemens, and he just wanted a guitar.
Oh, that's
I did
why.
not remember
That's
that.
why
You're
the name sounded so familiar. Holy shit.
Honestly,
I
I
haven't
got
seen TNG in a very long time.
I
so
got
don't
sucked
remember.
into the episode and didn't read that part of the ticker at first, so now I'm just really pleased that that was there, because that's awesome. Now we just need to hear about that other dude who wanted to, like, get his money out of his investments. 500 years later, I could probably buy this shit. Sorry, there's no money anymore. What?
What happened to my
I'm
Bitcoin?
sure he would have
What
been a
happened?
great
What happened to my
negotiator.
ship coin? Star coin?
Take
Bitcoin,
him to the
Starcoin?
diplomatic corps and have him negotiate with the Ferengi. He's probably the only person who can speak their language properly.
Oh, they
Yes.
just put him on that planet with the Shi'ar.
Oh yeah, he'll the Shellyak.
The
He'll talk to
Shellyak,
and
right,
serve
right.
The
as well.
Shellyak,
Oh, God.
the lawyers.
Been watching too much X-Men.
Okay, so let's talk about them stealing the Cerritos after they get to it.
Delightful.
Yes.
It was good, but I would think that there would have been more guard on the ship than there was, because if it was so difficult to get to, it's kind of like, we're going to make it very hard for you to get to it, but if you get in, here you go.
I mean, it's a
Free
part of
ship.
an active investigation, so, like, why aren't there security officers on board? And I guess for this
Yes.
one, like, it's an animation, anime? Suzanne. It's an animated show, but
Actually, I would wait till the investigation was done. They were already in court. In fact, by this point in the episode, the court itself may have already been finished.
Yeah.
that's a good point. That's a good point.
So,
Because that's the thing, is that
yeah.
the trial happens quickly, which is the most unrealistic part of it. But like, maybe courts actually work in the future. But that was the only thing that was weird, is that there weren't, like, any guard ships or nothing. Just
So
hey.
think of it this way, right?
Yeah.
We're not just talking about at the heart of the Federation. We're talking about the heart of the Federation. They're not in,
Yes.
like, they're not over Mars. They're not in the middle of any. No, they're in orbit of the moon. There's no safer place, probably, right? The Breen attack from 20 years before is probably the only time anything ever got there mad,
Ooh.
right?
You say 20,
Well-
it's not even 10.
Is it
Not even
I thought it was a
10.
bit more.
It's
Whatever. The point is-
2382, and it happened in 2374.
The point is,
Yes.
this is a safe place where they're not going to waste ships unless they have to.
It's a good
So
point.
the Cerritos
fair.
is a not just dehulled, but it's decrewed and dehulled ship. Just leave it there.
Yeah, well,
Who's
because
gonna
it's
want
not
it?
going to get very far. So, like, I guess that makes sense. Because I guess that's why they passed by the security thing, and he just goes,
Yeah.
red alert.
One
If you
thing.
really want to steal this car with no doors on it and no hood, go ahead.
It's
and,
a
like,
fixer
one
upper.
tire, like a donut
Yeah.
tire.
It probably doesn't even have gas in it, to be honest. It probably couldn't go to warp if it wanted to.
Slabs top of
the hood's a different
Cerritos.
color.
You can fit so many lower deckers in
The
here.
windows covered with, like, duct tape and, like, trash bags. That's what the Cerritos is like.
The
right
all
now.
trash bag and duct tape.
Good lord. Oh yeah, I've been there. I have been there. Yeah,
Did-
I had to take my car in and spend $800 because my
Ooh.
power steering snapped this week.
Ooh.
Wow.
So, like, the door's hanging off.
Who's
My car is the Cerritos.
who really
That's what I'm
appreciated the 3D chess app?
Okay, so it's like playing solitaire at work is what that guy was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
appreciate
playing
it.
solitaire.
I did like that.
Adorable. It's absolutely.
Well-
I love it.
But
That man
okay.
is playing Galaga.
No, that man's playing
Didn't think anyone
Galaga,
noticed.
but also it harkens back to Mr. Adventure from Star Trek 3. Like, don't you ever just want something to happen? this
you ever
damn
go peep
peculiar. Shows up, no contact code, no authorization. What are we gonna do?
I'm going to sit in the closet. The closet?
Have you lost your old sense of reality? This isn't reality. So he's just like
This
Mr.
is fantasy.
Fantastic's like grandkid or something.
He's just doing his job, right?
Mr.
His job
Adventure.
is watch these yards, make sure nothing happens. If something happens, hit the red button. Otherwise,
Right.
enjoy your solitaire.
And as
Yeah, it's like my
as
work
you
here.
said, this is the safest place in the Federation. There's nothing to do.
And
It's
so
the
that raises
ascent
a-
of space.
that raises a question that I'm pretty sure I probably brought this up before. So when you're on your shift in Starbase, there's nothing going on. Or if you're on a starship and you're spending those days, perhaps weeks, that it takes to get from your most recent assignment to the next place, what do you do? I mean, do you literally just... I'm trying to think how I want to word this. Is there really no time to fill playing some solitaire, surf the web, something? Are you telling me
depends on your ship and where you are, I'd say, right? Like, if you're on, say, like a Galaxy class ship and you're at high warp between two locations, right? Mm-hmm. There's probably 1.5 million maintenance tasks, research projects that you can run on, training simulations you can run, right? There's millions of things too. And I'm sure some of those are optional too, but Starfleet tends to be go-getters that want to do more than they have to, right? That's kind of the ethos of the Federation. But here, in this situation, right, it seems like it's a really tiny little outpost. And it's in a place where nobody would request this job, sit here and watch for things. That sounds really fucking boring. So it's probably people who aren't particularly ambitious, so they are just going to sit there and do the bare minimum to meet their job.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but there's got to be something to be said about the automation of productivity. Like, in our world today, productivity is at like 180% of what it was in the 70s because of automation. Yeah. And so by this time, like, they probably understand, hey, productivity has replaced, or automation has replaced a lot of your productivity. Play that app. I need you there in case I need you there. You know, if somebody actually steals a ship, like today, I need you there.
You'll know it, you know. But no, that's the thing. It's just like, you're gonna see it if it happens.
Here's the name of the episode.
Especially the Cerritos.
Here's the name of the episode. Starfleet officers are like condoms. I'd rather need them and not, or I'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Fair.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Change that to red shirts too.
Oh. That sounds like a great name for a condom brand. Red shirt condom brand.
It's gonna break.
Wow, it's going great.
It's gonna break. Guys. Red shirt condoms is gonna break. You're gonna get her pregnant.
Really mature content, guys.
This is
all right. So
people don't come to us for. They don't come to us for mature content.
I wanted to point out more things. I like that we got to see some more of Earth from a different perspective than we usually do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like Mariner in San Francisco and being like, whatever the hell that red thing is over there, talking about the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yes.
You know that's the bridge.
Yes. Yeah. I'm all for.
Don't drive anymore.
I'm totally okay with the disdain for ancient monuments that have no utilitarian function.
I'm an art historian, so I was like, Mariner, just go look at it. Just go look at it and experience history, you know?
Well, but things like the Ketracel white hot sauce at Cisco's, so clever. Especially because I get it might be a little insensitive to like Jem'Hadar culture or something along those lines, because it's literally an addictive drug that they're hooked on. It'd be like calling something cocaine cornflakes or something. It could be a bit offensive.
Or Aunt Jemima.
But
Aunt Jemima syrup. I mean, you know, until we got woke that we decided to change the name of that. Like, no one asked for that.
Well, I mean, a lot of people did, though. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, they did it mostly to, like... Anyway, the whole point being that, like, there's a lot of stuff that's done that lately. But I don't know. I think it's cool. I think it's a cool little
making light of the genetic addiction, or I'm sorry, the genetic dependence that the Jem'Hadar has on Ketracel white.
I was more getting at the fact that I think it's appropriate that the Cisco's, if anybody's going to make fun of them for it, it'd be the Cisco's.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's an interesting thing on the wall here that maybe it's just my eye and I'm reaching too hard, but when the camera pans to Mariner and Boimler when they enter the scene at Cisco's, there's a picture in the background that looks like a gold fleur-de-lis, but the center blade of the fleur-de-lis is embellished in a way that makes it look like a Bajoran comm badge. Just me thinking, at 6:34 in the episode, I see that and I see a Bajoran comm badge, and the connection between Cisco and the Bajorans and New Orleans and the Bajorans and the New Orleans Saints and the fleur-de-lis, and so that got me.
Yeah, I really like, because I think we know that Avery Brooks is not going to make a cameo. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't blame him, and that's fine. I think that if they were going to do that, and if they were going to, we got a lot of, it was packed with stuff, it was definitely like meant for like, hey, we know you love him, we do too, kind of thing.
I would be okay if Cisco showed up animated with a voice actor who could do that voice. I'd be okay.
Fair.
I
Yeah,
don't
think I'd be
really
okay with it.
I don't need them to recast a live action Cisco. Like the Matrix Resurrections tried with Morpheus. I don't need that.
Don't want that. Don't need that.
Right.
I agree.
Right. If Cisco's story was wrapped up off screen, oh yeah, he came back 3 years after he disappeared, and him and Cassidy went off, and they live on Bajor, and they're having a great time. And Kai Nerys tells us that. I'm all about it. All about it. But I don't need Avery to be stressed about that, and I don't need the fandom to beg him to do that.
Yeah, the people that do it, that bothers me because, I mean, I heard one time that, like, oh, he said he's not going to do it, and, like, you read about why, and you're like, I get it, that's fair. And then there are people that still pester about it, and it's just like, y'all, Google it.
He's not going to do it.
Read it for 5 seconds.
Just leave
Stop.
the guy alone.
Leave him alone. Let him live his life.
Moved on, done.
Yeah, of course people love him, and of course we would like to see him back, but, like, if he's not going to do that, and he doesn't want to do that, and tells you, I'm not fucking doing that, then don't pester the guy.
Right?
I don't know. It's like, I don't know. Anyway, I also wanted to mention briefly, I think it's funny that Boimler has one bite of hot sauce and immediately actually collapses.
Looks like
So-
he's going to
the
die.
character.
So
Yeah,
I need to point this out. The bottle of Ketracel white hot sauce, seen here, has 17 million Scoville heat
A lot of
units.
Scovilles.
Pop quiz. What is the hottest contemporary today known pepper to humankind? Suzanne raised their hand first.
It's either the Carolina Reaper or the Ghost Pepper.
It is the Carolina Reaper. Next
I was
question.
going to say ghost pepper.
I just lost this at trivia. It's the Carolina Reaper.
Oh.
Next question. Renzo, don't research it. I can see you.
I just want to see if you're right when you say
Put
it.
your arms down. We see him.
Well, I mean, I've got it right here, you know. But how many Scoville heat units does the Carolina Reaper have?
I think I know this, but I'm gonna.
What's
Don't
the
Google.
scale?
Don't Google. Just guess.
I'm not familiar with that scale. Is it like a 1 to 20 thing? Is it a
No, it's in the
It's like a
millions.
couple million. I mean, I think the hottest hot sauce that exists is like 2 million Scovilles.
So the Carolina Reaper.
Scovilles. Okay.
So the Carolina Reaper is 2.2 million Scoville heat units.
Jesus.
Ketracel
what's a
White
Scoville?
Hot is 17 million. It is over 8 times hotter. And actually, I think it's like a logarithmic scale, so there's
That
no
seems like a
wonder why Boimler is dying. But Mariner?
And she like shook half the bottle into that.
Every
That's-
year,
fucking hilarious.
every
I love her.
season,
Mhm.
I reignite, using a heat metaphor, I reignite the discussion that Mariner's an augment. Every
All right.
damn
No, yeah.
season.
So, Big J, for example, jalapeno pepper is about somewhere between 2,500 and 8,000 Scoville heat units, right?
Okay.
The jalapenos are flavorful, kind of
Sure.
spicy, whatever, right? As you go up, habaneros are around 16,000 to about 30,000, somewhere in that range.
Jesus.
Uh-huh.
So there's some variety there. As you go higher and higher, they do get a lot spicier. There are whole shows on YouTube that just take advantage of this fact to like get interviews with guests. So like Hot
Hot
on
Ones is
YouTube
so good.
amazing. And they just have hot wings that their guests eat while getting asked questions as
Right.
they get hot.
Maybe
So
we should
yeah.
do that for the finale.
I've-
Maybe we should have a
So-
Hot Ones with like a guest
Jay,
or something.
to
Yeah.
to go to what you had said, the ghost pepper is 1 million Scovilles.
Well, what's a Scoville? I've never heard
that's
of that.
It's like
Unit of
Fahrenheit. It's just the degree of measure.
Yeah,
I
it's
have
like-
no
it's
idea
like
how they
saying an
measure it.
inch.
It's named after
Okay.
a guy named Scoville.
Right.
So
It's one of those science
it's
things, I'm
just it's the ghost pepper is 1 million Scovilles. The Carolina Reaper is 2.2 million Scovilles. And if you've had a
Jesus.
jalapeno and it's only 6,000, and you've had
can't even
if you've
imagine.
I love ghost pepper salt. I put it on tacos all the time. It's delicious. But I've never had a Carolina Reaper. I have had this hot sauce, forgive the crassness. It was called Ass Blaster hot sauce. It was sold in a little makeshift outhouse. That made me cry. It's really freaking hot. We only put like a little dab on it on some chicken nuggets one time. It
Awful.
was
Terrible
so
time.
Little bit.
hot. Now,
These are the kind of things you have to sign a release before you consume
exactly.
it.
If the Carolina Reaper's 2 million, and if you've ever had a ghost pepper and it's 1 million, Ketracel is 17 million.
Jesus.
So I've done
Cisco said, "I'm gonna kill some people.
Take a
Get some
needle,
revenge on people
take
I
a
don't
sewing
know."
needle, lightly dip it, and put that little pin needle on your tongue, and you die.
Yep.
What it sounds like.
I did a one-chip challenge with by a company called Packy.
No.
They are very hot. They're like sealed, and they give you like black latex gloves so that when you touch it, you don't get it on your hands. The shit's fucking toxic.
Why would you do that?
I was out camping with a bunch of dudes, and we were all getting drunk and having a blast, and somebody broke out.
This is why women live longer.
We do some dumb shit.
Nobody died. Nobody died. But
nobody died.
It was awful. No, like it was immediate. You get the hiccups, your eyes start leaking, your nose starts leaking. You just want to die for a few minutes.
Yeah.
It was miserable. And this was with me chugging milk at the time.
Yeah.
Right? Like unfun. And that was about 2.5 million Scoville. So yeah. I'm not saying that Boimler is a complete wuss when it comes to hot sauce, but like he put 2 drops into like a big bowl of chili, it looked like.
The chili was probably hot on its own.
I would hope.
And Mariner just piled it on.
Yeah.
Mariner said half
She's
the
not
bottle.
human.
And Boimler even said, "How are you doing that?"
Yeah.
There's actually a hot sauce
not.
you can buy right now that advertises 12 billion Scoville as its temperature. So
What? B is in billion? Billion?
Million.
Million.
okay,
Okay, I thought you
million.
said
Oh,
billion.
sweet.
I was like,
Oh,
that's
Jesus.
bullshit.
I
thought you were
legit,
B stands
yeah.
for bullshit.
I heard billion, and my brain immediately jumped to the clip of Back to the Future 3 where they're trying to start the DeLorean with whiskey. I was like, that would do it.
Sorry, I'm a little stuffed up, so I'm a little funny sounding. But yeah, 12 million is what it is, and you can buy it.
Wow.
Oh my god.
I think I'll pass. Once again, I think as a woman, I'm gonna say no to that.
Renzo,
live longer.
DM me the link to that, and then I'm gonna include it as a link in the show. People can buy the hot sauce if they want.
Like, hey, you can't cut yourself, but yeah.
We hold no liability for what happens to you after you
Absolutely not. If you go to the
hot
hospital,
sauce.
you're on your own. Pal.
Yeah.
If you do that shit, that's your fault.
I have heard of friends who have handled peppers with their bare hands and then sought intimacy, and it was a bad time for everybody. It's a bad time.
Nope,
rubbing
I'm
your
done.
face,
I'm good.
Going to the bathroom, any one of these is a mistake. Even with just jalapenos.
Yes.
Like if you're chopping jalapenos and then go to the bathroom, you have made a mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's gonna suck.
Your
for a very long
sensitive
time.
bits are not evolutionarily equipped to deal with hot peppers.
You're
I'm
just
I don't know.
cooking them.
Why do we have? Okay, here's my question to that, and this is maybe a little too much. Why do our intimate bits have spicy, like, feeler? You know what I'm talking about? Why do we have that sense down there?
They don't. What they actually
say
sense
that?
is something toxic. It's
Oh,
something
they said
that,
okay.
like, yeah.
Why
hate
why
So-
is
I
our
was
why are
basically
our
saying, like,
genitals
why-
so sensitive to hot sauce and
Yeah,
peppers?
like why are our genitals?
So they're
why
not
do we
sensitive
have-
to peppers or hot sauce. What they're sensitive to is things that are toxic or caustic, which you definitely want your good bits down there to be sensitive for, because you don't want to put it somewhere that might be toxic or
yeah.
caustic.
Reproductivity relies on that sensitivity. You need to not burn your dick off.
Who's trying to challenge that area with toxic material?
People who have strange kinks. All
That's-
kinks are
Wow.
valid,
That's fair.
but that's out
That's-
there. That's out there.
Yeah, dip
But
your
I
nuts in
mean,
some hot
let's-
sauce.
hold on.
Let's
Okay.
move
Let's
on to a
no.
different
We're
subject.
gonna
Kink
do
shaming,
we're gonna
kink
do
shaming.
just
No, we're shaming on the hot sauce.
just a tiny little evolutionary history of the pepper. First of all, pepper's primary predators are birds. Birds don't have any spice senses. The whole reason that these little pepper things prehistorically sort of evolved to be more and more caustic and painful to people that had the spice sense is so that they could be like, yo, we're for birds, stop eating us. And then humans went, challenge accepted, and started breeding them.
Anyone said, I bet. Essentially, geez,
So
this really is
that's-
beyond track.
That's my itty bitty summary of the
Jesus.
evolution of the pepper. If you want to talk more about it, find me on Twitter.
Oh
So-
boy.
My favorite thing overall from this episode, and it's something that Lower Decks has been doing from the beginning, is the whole trust of the system kind of message, right?
Yeah.
From things like Bradward having to go to the farm because he got from Division 14 or whatever. All that is just
Bradward.
trust the system, or Bradward, yes. Trust the system, even
No, I
if you
said
don't
Bradford.
understand it, because the Starfleet is good. Even if you don't know it, you can be cynical, but Trust the system. It ends up working out. It's very utopian. I really like it. And I really like the fact that they went back to that message here, because it wasn't at all the crazy hijinks of the lower deckers that mattered here. It was literally just Morgan Bateson doing his orders from Starfleet Command, Tuvok doing his order, etc., etc.
Tuvok, I love Tuvok. I know I've said it already, but I love Tuvok. I love him so much. I'm so happy he's back. I wish he'd gotten a line. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I feel like Tim Russ might have been like, no.
Maybe next week.
Yeah, right. Oh God.
I imagine Tim would be
I really am. I don't know if anybody I don't know if y'all saw that clip, and I'll see if I can send it to you, Dag. But there is a screenshot from the trailer that has, I swear to God, it's Tuvok, because he's in the Monster Maroon, and there is precedent for that in Voyager because he was in it when he served under Captain Sulu, I think. And then there's also Janeway. I think it looks like Janeway from the back. It's got the bun and she's short, and I'm listen.
And what trailer?
So hold up. You're saying we're gonna flashback to flashback?
Or
I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know. It might be the holodeck.
You're talking about the trailer for the next episode?
I haven't watched the trailer for the next episode.
No,
I never watch the trailers.
It's in like the preview, the season 3 preview.
Yeah,
the season preview. Gotcha.
I'll see if I can find it and send it.
Man, they totally got me. I was totally bought into this season 3. We're gonna go rescue Carol arc.
They
and
really
it's
got
just,
me.
That whole thing just went bloop. Yeah. Hey, we're good.
One
Let's
episode,
go.
we're good.
It's Mariner being tested the entire season. That's all it is. Like, you know.
Ransom's gonna have fun with her.
You know,
I'm your mommy now.
You said, Renzo said that because we've established Lower Decks had a precedent that in the first episode of Lower Decks, Ransom had some crazy mutation god power thing. In the first episode of Lower Decks, there was another Ransom mutation where he developed god powers. Now he has power over Mariner, so that might as well count.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It's a stretch.
Like, I am
but
your
it's
god now type shit.
He did say that, didn't he?
He said, "I'm your mommy now."
Oh, close enough.
Which is so fucking
close
funny.
enough. Close enough. If you're in Witches versus Patriarchy, mommies are gods, so it's good.
I also wanted to mention briefly, it's a silly thing, and it's one that I noticed because I'm me, and you'll understand in a second. The civvies that Rutherford is wearing, the like sweater that he's got on, is lesbian colors.
Oh,
Rutherford lesbian
really?
Confirmed.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, it's just I don't know, it's silly, but it's just like, oh look, little lesbian Star Trek civilian sweater.
The style.
And now the joke about the asymmetrical clothing even was great.
Oh, it was wonderful.
Always,
yeah,
that's always been Trek's like, civilian clothing. It's kind of like modern current clothing, just asymmetrical.
Yeah, basically.
Let's buy these 2 sweaters at Goodwill, cut them in an asymmetrical way, and restitch them back together and make it a costume for Jake Sisko.
Yeah,
that's
it's
what it is.
It's the same way as like like people will take like plaid shirts they got at the like thrift store, and then they'll like, cut them straight down the back and just sew them together. And then, like,
that's a thing.
Yeah,
you
and so it's like a 2-tone plaid shirt. Yeah, it's a thing.
That hasn't made it over to the Midwest here.
It looks pretty cool, honestly.
I mean, it is the Midwest, though.
Interesting. Well,
I mean, I live in hell.
Okay, let me reword that. It hasn't made its way to Cincinnati. That's for sure.
I mean, I live in hell, so I see all kinds.
You live in hell. There's nothing better to do than get 2 plaid shirts, cut them down the middle.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm in one of those things, like everything shuts down at like 10 p.m. You know, Big City, 10 p.m. Tired, exhausted. Like unless you're over 21 or like, you know. If you don't want to go die, everything shuts down at like midnight. So
that's when the drug dealers come out.
Essentially, yeah. But Christ, this episode, y'all. This episode was so good. I completely I was not expecting any of it. Like you think that you know going in, and then everything was like really well paced too. I thought the pacing was just right. Nothing felt rushed to me. Yeah. But
they even built up characters in ways that made more sense, right? So like the fact that Mariner knew Admiral Buenamigo as like, oh hey Uncle Les, right? Like you are so Starfleet like brass royalty kind of kiddo that you know bunches of admirals by first names, like dude, and it fits with her character and it makes sense.
It does. I think it would be funny if Janeway did come back and she was like, hey, what up, Cat? Some stupid shit like that.
Oh yeah.
Just, what up, Katie? But I'm still holding on to that. I hope so. But I also kind of want her to have her own thing, and I know I'm Janeway posting right now.
My brain just composed like Admiral Janeway being like, Mariner, we've spoken about this before.
Oh yeah, no, like I could write. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Paramount could give me a week and like unlimited coffee and a fifth of whiskey, and I would have a Janeway episode written in like 2 weeks.
Oh,
Give
really?
me like 2 weeks, and I could.
That's
I mean,
good.
I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm not a screenwriter. but
I'm just here for the
Christ's
whiskey,
sake.
so.
I mean, yeah. Honestly, for Christ's sake, just give me like an Irish setter puppy, unlimited coffee, in an office, and I'll come up with a Janeway episode. Good lord. But no, as if you can't tell, I really hope I get to see Janeway again.
Did anybody have any preconceptions about Denny before he said his name? Any hopes about who that character might be or what they might represent or anything?
I always hope it was O'Brien.
Too old, way too old for O'Brien.
Old, yeah.
In that era,
No, I mean, before we saw him, right? But just, I was hoping, like,
Mhm.
maybe he's done with the academy, doesn't want to teach anymore, he just wants to go back to the simple days of being a transporter chief again. And so now he mans that station. That's what I was thinking for a bit.
that would have been
Missed
very
opportunity.
interesting.
I do feel like that if there was a chance to do that, because the character's hair, if you're going to animate Chief O'Brien's hair like they did in that statue of him, in the I don't recall the name of the episode. Yes, it was the same hairstyle, which is kind of what Chief O'Brien had on DS9. He was wearing the uniform that was the jumpsuit used in the first
Four seasons, 4.5 seasons.
First four, about 4.25, 4.5
Yep.
seasons of DS9 and all of Voyager. So there
And
were few.
he's got the jacket on that's very loosely based on the aviation jacket that him and Bashir were doing in the holosuites.
That's true.
So that's what I found was odd. Was why would you make so many hints to reference that this is Chief O'Brien, but make the guy too old to be him, and then just make it not
Because
him?
Lower Decks loves
Do you-
doing references.
Do you
Maybe
wanna know
maybe
why?
Like an homage. I mean,
Do you want to know why?
Why?
Because 40 years ago, O'Brien was transporter cloned, and we've been following the adventures of the clone this whole time.
Oh, transporter clones, Jesus.
goddamn those clones.
If there's one
Damn
man who has
clones.
an unknown amount of transporter clones out there, it's O'Brien.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I also think that like it could have been one of those things where like they wanted to make an homage, but like didn't have the way like a way to write him in, or like couldn't get called Meanie on, or like whatever it would have been.
Right.
But I still think it's a good like it's still good like pays homage to the character. I think it's nice. I
Well,
also
he
love the
doesn't-
butterscotch,
The-
but
Yeah, I don't. The Werther's original. That's probably what it is. I made it through World War III.
Is
But
the
he didn't
Werther's
realize.
original guy?
He didn't realize that he was about to get the double-fisted Kirk chop to the back of his head by Mariner, so he avoided that.
He was still quick with a
Double-fisted
phaser though when he needed it. He was
Yep.
real quick with the phaser. All right.
and I love that he
so-
scared them and then just said no. Oh my god. Oh shit. Like,
You're crying. Stop crying.
stop crying. Fuck. I'm just gonna get some soup.
Are you crying? There's no crying in Starfleet.
There's no crying in baseball.
So I just want it to be known that I did do an image search for the Werther's original grandpa, and he looks nothing like him. So
Aw.
it is not a direct homage to the grandfather.
All right.
His
But no, you
grandfather,
were just
O'Brien's
saying
grandfather.
Any other last thoughts here from y'all?
I do. I have one. So it was brought up a couple times that the thought of the season was that there was going to be this big arc about the whole trial and everything with Captain Freeman. And what I think, I wasn't really thinking that going into it, because to me, Lower Decks in Strange New Worlds is following the kind of formula where they are episodic, but they do have that serialized undertone. So you really can jump in at any time to watch an episode. It's not like with Discovery. With Discovery, you miss an episode, forget it. You're gonna miss too much there. So I was a little surprised that it was all wrapped up and done in one episode. I thought maybe two, but it was. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with an entire what could have been a half season long or a few episode long arc was just talked about, like, this is what happened and this part and that part, done, and let's move on to whatever. I don't know what if there is going to be a serialized undertone this season. I don't believe we know what that is yet, because this episode, at least to me, didn't really broadcast what is that going to be.
I think it's the Klingons. I don't think we've seen the end of the Klingons yet.
I think we're going to run into more of our characters that we've seen from the other two seasons, right? Like, I think we'll see the Cheval and its crew, the Vulcans in particular, again, right? Like, I think that's another tie back into the Klingon story. I don't know if we'll have, like, a really serialized show like Discovery or Picard. No. I hope not. I think that this is doing well the way it is. But, we'll get some callback elements. The same way we saw the Pakleds to the end of season 1 and then through season 2 here and there. Same kind of thing.
I also I don't know if y'all noticed in the I love that the fight scene, like the intro, is always different and there's always more ships. Yeah, there are Klingon ships. There's a Crystalline Entity. There is the Borg. I think we're gonna see more of. I don't know. I personally think we're gonna see more of the Klingons, maybe more of the Romulans, and I want to see. Oh my God, what was her name? The Vulcan that got kicked off of.
I can't remember her name either, but yes, I would definitely like to see her.
I want to see more of her, please. I think it would make sense that she would get sent to like a lower ship, or like lower decks, but not like a, you know what I mean, like a California class. I think that would make a lot of sense. T'Lyn, I think that's her name.
I think you're right.
Oh, I love her. I want to see a Vulcan crew member, and I also think it would be cool to have a Vulcan as part of the like little team that we have going on. I think that'd be cool, because you always need a Vulcan.
I love the idea of them just getting like a Vulcan transfer officer or something, and it happens to be T'Lyn.
Yeah, T'Lyn. Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be delightful.
I would love that. Another thing that my brain just kicked into is that this Zefram Cochrane on this particular ride that they were on, it's just one more hologram that Rutherford's fucked with.
Oh no! Do you want a Badgie, but it's Zefram Cochrane hologram?
Oh my
God! No!
Oh.
I want Badgie discovering that this ship can be autonomous with the Zefram Cochrane, collecting all the holograms that Rutherford's messed with, and they're the big bad guy at the end of this.
Did we see Badgie in the trailer? I feel like Badgie was in the trailer.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, he was in the trailer.
All we need to do is find Moriarty.
God, I love Badgie.
Oh,
he's out there
and
somewhere.
Then the dog will come and save them.
The dog, the dog with the eyes.
The dog. I love the dog.
I'm just saying, if we're going to have Rutherford's creations terrorize them for an episode, then I think Tendi's creation should save them.
That's fair.
Wait a minute.
Okay,
That'd be really sweet.
That's fair.
I love that. Oh my God, I love it. The dog episode I watch consistently because of the eyes.
Honestly,
God.
The dog turning Badgie into a chew toy, that definitely needs to happen.
Ideal.
Yeah.
Badgie's like, stop! Ow, stop! And then you have a little squeaker sound.
Oh my God. The eyes just go black.
We're getting loopy again.
Christ.
Oh, that's so
we
great.
Can do it.
Well, guys, it has been a treasure reminiscing with y'all and getting the band back together for this season 3 premiere of Star Trek Lower Decks. Yeah. Beyond Trek Podcast is going to be with you every week, covering every episode of Lower Decks. Keep in mind, as of the recording of this episode, Star Trek Las Vegas is ongoing. But this episode is, by the time you listen to this episode, Star Trek Las Vegas will be over. So we hope that those of you who are listening to us from there, coming back from there, had a great time. Let us know your stories.
Yeah. Tweet us your stuff.
Yeah, tweet us.
I want to see y'all's cosplays and y'all's photos and like who you met and who you talked to.
And have FOMO. Let me know. Is somebody coming back that we haven't heard?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely.
Give us the deets.
Speaking of tweeting us, you can hit up the podcast at Beyond Trek Pod. Suzanne is Captain Janeway, but that first A is an X.
Yep.
Big J is I don't know how the 76 is in yours. Is it Big J 76 or Big 76J or 76 Big J or?
I want to say it's Big J 76.
I think it is.
And then Renzo, of course,
some goon took the one I wanted.
Hawkshark. At Hawkshark. He has 2 followers, so help him out. And then I'm Trek Nexus. Renzo
You
probably
said Renzo
has like
no followers.
Rough. I have 10. Most of them thanks to you from the other week.
Jesus
10
Christ.
followers. He's got 10. But that's not bad because Renzo
Hey,
doesn't.
Renzo.
Renzo's not a tweep.
Neither am I. I'm not a tweeter. I don't know. It's
I am
I'm
a
not
tweeter.
able to
I am the
keep up.
tweeter in this group.
Oh man.
All right, y'all.
Audience.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yep.
I'm not a TikToker.
Are you
I'm not a
gonna
tweeter.
do it this time? Do you want to do it?
No, you are.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. All right. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us and
I
dealing
am
with.
at 76 Big J. Sorry, Dag, you were right. 76 Big J.
I knew it was going to be out of order, just like all the rest of us today and this episode. And I really appreciate
Oh, Lord.
you for always going boldly with Beyond Trek Podcast. Hey, everybody. I just wanted to give a quick shout out to our Patreon and Anchor supporters, to S. Tam and Nora Hickson. Thank you so much for being a part of Beyond Trek Podcast.
We are Beyond Trek Podcast. Lower your inhibitions and surrender your years. We will add inspirational and hilarious Trek content to your day. Your attention will adapt to subscribe to us. Resistance is futile.